do Don do? Don is not a fast learner, and he don't learn anything from what he do wrong, right?
Right.
No, he don't learn anything. He keep doing it.
Yeah.
So whatever he do, if they said, please don't send people back, don't open up, Don, it'll be this. They say, hell, it just ain't gonna last for 2 weeks. It'll be gone away. It'll be 15 people, and it'll be that's it. He don't come to people and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And now, what's happening now is devastating. I mean, you know, we're getting into real bubonic plagues type stuff.
Yeah.
When you get 135,000, 140,000 people dead almost. And when you get 60,000 people a day, right, getting the blues.
Yeah.
Moving toward 100, now it was 60 yesterday. The white man, Dr. Fauci, said that we're going to probably get to 100,000. And it's still just going right at 100,000. And it's getting, you know, you see the real red lines?
Yeah.
It's getting closer and closer to 100,000. I mean, even if it slows down, it'll still get to 100,000. Right? So what if it levels off at 95,000? So what? What are you talking about?
What's the difference, you know, at that point? Yeah.
Suppose it doubles over that. Remember, and the man haven't learned nothing. He haven't learned nothing. They caught him with a mask on the other day down at the hospital.
They caught him with a mask on.
What's the big deal about, I mean, but you gotta remember, the U.S. is beating everybody by the millions on this thing. The rest of the world is looking at what's wrong with America. Now you gotta remember, America the great, America the strong. China, they got 1.45 billion people. Imagine, they knocked their thing down to little or nothing. They was talking about somebody came in the other day and we got 2 people. This is in China.
Yeah.
They closed down Wuhan, whatever it was. Then it jumped back up the other day to 100, you know. Okay. Korea, they just masked up, suited down, sprayed everything down, and can you imagine? They had something like 100, maybe 250. I can't remember exactly. Deaths in all of Korea, and they got 80 million people. That's it. They don't have 135,000 people dead.
135,000. Man, that's a big
That's, I'm telling you, now see, when it was down at 5 or 10, it was just creeping up. But now we're getting into devastation where, you know, this is real.
Right.
Now, for me, it's been real for a long time, but it's really, really real. When they say California got these many, I'm telling them, hey, I'll go back to California when I get ready.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go back to when I get ready.
Yeah, I know California, what was it, California, Arizona,
Florida,
Texas. Like, yeah, they're catching it bad down there, yeah.
Don haven't said nothing, no. Can you imagine? Look at the man, though. You got to look at it. Somebody hired him to be that big a fool.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's a fool. Yeah, he's arrogant. But being that arrogant, here's the thing. When you get China, when you get Russia, when you get the whole world is on China's side, they're the one that's got the Belt and Road. And the money they invested. I said, man, they have turned the world upside down. They made the U.S. close in on itself.
Yeah.
And they expanded.
Right. Encirclement and
The
entrapment.
encirclement and suppression.
Suppression, yeah.
Look, no, they use, you use that stuff on the Chinese, and pretty soon they use it back on you, naturally.
Yeah.
They said, okay, because see, in 73, when Nixon went over there, well, we're going to divide China away from Russia, because they're both Reds. So here goes old Nixon over there, then Kissinger come, and oh, we just love everybody. Yeah, by 1980, the deindustrialization of America, American companies is selling everything to China. We got all of those people. They put everything together, low wages. By the 80s, China is stealing everything that ain't, you know, even videos. I mean, anything that had a copyright on it, China, they were stealing. All the movies, anything. CDs, tapes, in those days it was tapes. You could hear, they stole everything.
Right.
And when you go to the shop in Africa, in Europe, or anywhere else, you know what they would have in there? They'd have the Chinese bootleg stuff.
Yeah.
Same label and everything, but they knew it was bootleg. Why? Because you would pay 1/3 the price for the American stuff of what you're gonna do. It sounds just as good, it looks just as good. What are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
They stole everything. Here's why the Americans hate the Chinese. Some of the stuff worked, but 80% of the stuff didn't work. Here's the linchpin. They thought that in the struggle of capitalism and communism, once the people acquire wealth, they want so-called democracy. That's the biggest trick. The Chinese whooped them so bad on that. They're mad right this minute because China got everything that it wanted. Now, you gotta remember now, they got the transfer of technology. Usually when the West gives somebody some little skill, they give them enough to put their stuff together, the Western stuff.
Yeah.
They send it over there and let you put it together. But China demanded the transfer of technology. That means, if you want to build it in China, you have to bring the whole bundle.
Yeah.
From the rubber to the plastic, right, to the metal, and how to put it all together. And yes, we're going to work with you. And you're going to put it all from scratch. So they can't do anything now. Then, first, the Chinese did America like the Japanese did. No, Japanese. Way back when. See, I know you don't remember what I mean. Have you ever heard that radios had big tubes, vacuum tubes?
Yeah, we learned about that in school.
Yeah, big vacuum.
Yeah, the history of computers, yeah.
Okay. But the transistor radio,
Right.
the bitty thing,
Yep.
the Japanese hit on that. So when the Japanese hit on that, that means all these transistor radios. And then made in Japan used to be a joke. Even the joke used to be, they had a place in Japan called USA, USA. So they used to put made in USA. Made in USA, it wasn't lying, but it was made in USA in Japan. right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What the Japanese did, they did it to everybody. I remember in '71, I'm talking to a white boy down there in Bolivia. He said, look, you see this camera? My camera, his camera. He said, this is a German camera, $300. The camera that other guy got, Japanese camera, $100. Which one? And it does the same thing as mine. Which one you think? They copied, they just copied.
Yeah.
They copied everybody, and they copied it, and they got busy. Pretty soon, the Japanese owned everything. All the U.S. companies, music companies, Sony, everything. In the 80s, now they're talking about China. Then it was Japan. Japan slipped up on them. And Japan is powerful now, and it was not became number 2 in the world. Now it's supposedly number 3. But Japan, look how they blew their own brains out in those days with Japan. They're really blowing their brains out. What did they do? Designed obsolescence.
Right, yeah.
Car lasts here 2 years. What kind of cars? Man, all them big pretty cars I had, the smallest one had 472 cubic inches. After that, the rest of them had 500 cubic inches. They had 4-barrel carburetors. I don't know if you know what a carburetor is, but a carburetor is a thing that regulates the gas, and it's not fuel injection. Now they have fuel injection.
Right.
Then they had a carburetor. Well, it's the same thing. It sucks the gas out of the tank and run it through the.
Okay.
A lot of cars had a 1-barrel carburetor. Some had 2. And all the cars that I bought had 4-barrel carburetors. And then the races, they would have 2 4-barrel carburetors sitting on top of the engine.
Oh, okay.
You see them 2 big things
Yeah.
sitting up there?
Okay.
Those are old-time carburetors. And they used to have 3 deuces, that means 3 tubes. Or they would say, man, what you got under the hood? And if you had all of the carburetors, they knew it was hot. I say, I got 6 niggas with tennis shoes on under my hood, that's what's on. But anyway, no, it was unbelievable what they did. Now you gotta think now, America, gas was 30 cents a gallon. In the 50s, it was 20 cents. Even in the 60s, it was some places 20 cents a gallon, 25 cents. The most you would pay is 35 cents a gallon. So the tanks with them cars, I don't know whether they were 16 gallons or 36 gallons. But the mileage on my cars were 11 miles a gallon on the highway and 6 or 7 in the city. Remember, 400, 500 cubic inch engines,
Right.
8 cylinders, all 8 cylinders. The engine, you seen them big old cars? You look
Yeah.
up, you said, what is that monster? That's an engine. European cars, Japanese cars. England is an island. Japan is an island. They got to import all their gasoline. So they have to have what? Low cars have to get a lot of power and a lot of mileage. So Toyota, the biggest joke in the world was, I said, 68, 69. One of my girlfriends got a Toyota, and I thought of it like a toy. A Toyota. A Toyota. You thought of it like a, look at that thing. Then, by the early 70s, Hondas, Toyotas, Mitsubishis. The oil embargo hit. Gas went from 30 cents a gallon to $1.25 a gallon. That was a lot of money. Again, this is in 1980. All the white folks that had all them big old American cars, they were junk, real junk. I mean, the 1969 Cadillac, an American-made car, had a 5-year warranty of 50,000 miles. That was it. 1970 had a 12,000 mile warranty for 1 year. Why? The quality. Right when they did that, lowering the quality of cars, making sure you got to come in and get them fixed, because the American, you wouldn't believe how powerful they used to have a saying, so goes General Motors, so goes America. GM. There was no such thing as a Japanese car in America. That's a joke. It was 2 or 3. But man, by the 80s, everybody got rid of them big old cars. Didn't nobody have them big old cars anymore, but a few Negroes saw how cheap they was on the used car lot, because the white folks got rid of them right away. They didn't run good, they were junk, they didn't last no time. It was planned obsolescence. They planned them to last for 2 years.
Right.
So the American industry that used to be the envy of the world, now was a laughing stock. Nobody would buy that junk. It was big. It was unfit for highway transportation. Everybody else, small cars, high efficiency. Now, go find an American car. Go find it right out there. See, you can find that. There's a couple of Dodges, a couple of, well, they ain't Plymouths anymore. There's a couple of Dodge Rams. I'm sure you could find the police cars have to be an American car. Basically, that's about it. That's about it. That's about it. General Motors, who wants to buy? In the 80s, they started trying to improve on American cars. They just got too far behind.
Yeah.
And they couldn't catch up. They haven't made it yet. The whole industry here is Hondas. Everybody's driving Subarus, Hondas, Mitsubishis, whatever they are. Everything else. They don't drive. Can you imagine the whole auto industry? Do you know, you heard about Detroit, how it's, for the last decades, have been into such a decline? The auto industry.
Yeah.
All of the Midwest. Youngstown, Ohio, Lordsburg. I used to drive between, I still drive past Lordsburg. The parking lot used to be full on those big. The Rust Belt is right over there. The Rust Belt is right over there when you hit Ohio, when you go up to Detroit. In other words, Japan cleaned America's clock. In the meantime, we want to turn China on our side, and the unions make too much money here. The people in California lived in the hills. The people was making so much money at GM and all the places.
Yeah.
They were really, they were wealthy.
Right.
They were wealthy.
Yeah. That was like the middle class was a real thing back then.
No, but they was up on top of the middle.
Oh, okay, they were
units.
beyond middle class.
Yeah, they were up. They was up there. I mean, like in 1980, they was making $20 and $25 an hour in 1980.
Right, yeah.
1980. People would be almost happy to make $20 an hour now.
Yeah.
Some people would.
Yeah.
A lot of people would. If the minimum wage, we're gonna boost it up to $15. That means it's still $8 or $9, $10.
Yeah.
I don't know what people are gonna do with that. But what Japan did to America was slip up under it. Oh, we just humble Japanese. Oh, so. But see, I tell you, when I recognized it, in 1971, when I went to Algeria, first I was staying at one of them hotels downtown, and I saw all those Japanese businessmen. Because Algeria had some oil, and they was Japanese. Like, oh, so. And I knew how tough Japanese was. And I used this terminology. When I got to Black Africa, we got in a squeaky 1970 or 71 Land Cruiser. It was called Toyota Land Cruiser. That one now, that big bad, was a bad joker now, big fat tires, and it don't squeak, it don't do. That boy was new then. It was taking the place of the old Leland Land Rover. The old Leland, when you see them old safari movies, they had a big Jeep looking thing.
Yeah.
Those were Land Rovers.
Okay.
Same company make the Rover now, you know, but they were Land Rovers. And we'd ride in that thing and it would squeak and what have you. Within a few years, the Japanese Land Cruiser was on the money because Japan believes in Kaizen. Kaizen means slow, constant improvement. Whatever you put out, you have to make some constant improvement. And they improved the Toyota, and they improved everything they put out. They improved their cameras. They improved everything to pretty soon, even now, when you go and buy some gadget, it's still Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, here's what. Now remember, America messed itself up with its production.